It was a cold night. I was at the station waiting for the last train that would take me home. Some lights announced its arrival, and as soon as it stopped in front of me, I went up and looked for a solitary seat. I took out my headphones and put on some music to make the journey a little more enjoyable. I felt someone get into the car and sit down a few rows from me. I gave it no more importance and focused again on the music. Minutes later, the public address system announced the next stop. The train stopped and I adjusted my head as I looked out the window. As soon as we started walking again, I looked back and saw that the stranger from before was now much closer to me. I was startled. A bit of sweat slipped down my forehead and I noticed that something was wrong with that guy, but I didn't dare turn around again. I tried to distract myself with the music, but I felt restless. A new announcement over the public address system scared me. This time, it was my stop. I grabbed my bag and stormed out, determined to lose sight of this suspicious man. As soon as I stepped foot outside, I was greeted by the cool night air. I looked around, breathed in relief, and reproached myself for having gotten so nervous for nothing as I started on my own way home. Upon arrival, while searching my pocket for the keys, I noticed footsteps in the distance and my heart raced. I was about to open the door when I felt a hand on my shoulder. "Get away!" But as soon as I turned around, I saw my neighbor, Mrs. Elizabeth. "Oh, I'm sorry. You took me by surprise. I went to see my mother at the hospital and I guess I'm very tired."
"Don't worry. I thought you were the man who walks with me in my dreams."
Her answer left me frozen. What did she mean? I said goodbye to her and went into the house while a chill ran down my spine. As soon as I entered, I heard a voice in the distance. "Open the door." I jumped and spun around in the hallway, which was in complete darkness. The light from outside revealed the shadow of someone under the door. I gathered all the courage I could and slowly approached. I grabbed the handle and yanked it open, but to my surprise, no one was there. I peeked out and suddenly one of my feet touched the box that was on the floor. I bent down to check its contents and saw that it contained a generous amount of jewelry. But as I was digging in the bottom, I felt a sting of pain.
Ouch!
They were syringes. I kicked the box away from me. I didn't understand anything that was happening. I decided to go to Mrs. Elizabeth's house for help, where I could feel a little safer. I banged the door violently, but no one answered. Maybe she was fast asleep. I knew it was wrong, but fear had taken over me, so I tried to open the door and I went into the apartment. Everything was silent and totally dark. I turned on a small lamp in the living room and came across an old book that read,
"Today, I dreamed again of that man who walks by my side. At first, I thought he was my husband's spirit until I saw his face, like a ghost with empty eyes. Yesterday, I noticed that he's wearing a belt with many syringes and..."
I felt a breath in my back that prevented me from finishing the sentence. I mustered the courage to turn around and nearly fainted when I saw Mrs. Elizabeth. She was standing there, trembling, her clothes completely soaked in blood. She had a syringe stuck in each eye.
"He's here,"
she said shakily. I screamed and pushed her away from me. I had no idea what was going on. It was all crazy. I could only run away. I ran with all my might towards the door, but crashed and fell hard to the ground. I looked up and saw several guys, including the man from the train, who came up to me and asked me in a wicked voice, "Are you afraid of me?" If I was afraid, of course, but I wasn't going to give him the satisfaction of looking terrified, so I shook my head. He smiled bravely and adjusted the hood that covered his head. Then he grabbed me by the hair, lifted me off the ground, and threw me against the wall. All my hopes of survival were dashed as pain coursed through my body. I closed my eyes, and the last thing I felt was like someone was fighting to get into my consciousness. I woke up in a cold, dark room, surrounded by police officers, not knowing how I got there. They all murmured around me, until one of them opened a folder full of papers. "Nick Vanill, you're under arrest for the murder of Elizabeth Kellins. This is all evidence against you. We have your print all over the apartment, on her jewelry and on the murder weapon." I froze. What was he talking about? Wait, all this he did, the man of Elizabeth's dreams. He has done all this to blame me. But nobody listened to me. They handcuffed me, stood me up, and took me out of that cold room. I walked with my head down towards a destination that had been determined for me, swearing that one day I would take revenge. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it. And if you want to see more Draw My Life videos, subscribe to our channel. See you in the next episode!